Just finished looking at a Spike Lee joint, Do the Right Thing. I feel so white saying a Spike Lee joint. This is a 1989 film it's about race. Let's be honest here. But it's about more than that. It follows the story of people that live on a street in Bed-Stuy in Brooklyn, and it just takes place over one day and then the next morning, and as the literal heat rises in the city, so does the level of hatred between the different groups that live there, and it all comes to a proverbial boiling point when they burn down a pizzeria. But this movie is also about more than just race. It's about hate. It is, but not just black and white. There's a Korean family that owns a grocery store, and they hate everyone, and everyone hates them, and the cops hate the Puerto Ricans, and the blacks hate the Italians, and the Italians hate everybody, and the police hate everyone, and everyone hates the police, and it's a lot about hate, but there's also a lot of love in the movie. The main character, if there is a main character, is Mookie, portrayed by Spike Lee himself. And he has a kid and a girlfriend, and at the end of the movie, or throughout the movie, she keeps bothering him how he never comes by, and at the end of the movie, he wakes up in her bed. They spent the night together, and he's going to come back after he gets his money, and the mayor and mother sister, I think is her name, they start out the movie kind of antagonizing each other, but by the end, again, he wakes up in her bed. She didn't share it, but they've grown to respect and care about each other. And this love exists amongst the hate. And it all comes down to that speech by Radio Raheem, where he talks about his rings. He has two ring bars on his fists, and the left hand says hate, and the right hand says love. And he gives this great speech towards, like, around the middle of the movie, where hate hits, but eventually love comes back and hits harder and wins. And that's definitely the take-home message to the movie. That and a little bit of about violence as well. A lot of people ask, did Mookie do the right thing at the end when he throws a trash can through the window of the pizzeria in which he works after Radio is killed by the police? And Roger Ebert writes in his book that Spike Lee says, there's a lot of hearsay, let me rephrase that. Spike Lee once said that in an answer to that question, did Mookie do the right thing, he said, no one of color has ever asked me that. And that thought, that line, that quote, hung in my head the whole time I'm watching this movie. And I realized that his message is that sometimes violence is the answer to violence, but not necessarily against people. At least I think that's what he's trying to say. He believes that Mookie did the right thing, and I would tend to agree. The other thought I had is that it seems like the film doesn't take a side. The film portrays every character equally, in that every character, everybody that lives on this street has flaws and is right in their own way and is right in their own minds. There's no real villains. Even the cops who just basically murder a teenager, you can hear them yelling, stop. And you can see them showing regret, and like they know they made a mistake. And they're at fault for it, but they're also doing their jobs. And Sal asked him multiple times to turn the music off, and he turned it up, and Luna, don't knock over the lamp. Sal's just asked him to turn down the radio multiple times, and he didn't, and everyone just kind of antagonizes each other. Everyone's at fault, so no one's at fault. It's an interesting, like, dichotomy in this movie. It's a very, very well put together movie, and it's nice that it's not, like, vilifying anyone. Nobody's the bad guy. Everyone's just human. And with that comes a level of empathy for the audience towards every character on screen. Like, you feel for every individual and what they're going through. You feel for Radio's friends and Mookie, and you also feel for Sal. He lost 25 years of work, and the people in that neighborhood lost a friend, and it's not saying they're equal, but they feel equal to each character, and that's what makes it. It's a tough movie. It's the climax, at least. The majority of the movie is very, very entertaining. A lot of humor mixed in with the drama, but that climax is just, it's good. It's very good. It's very well done. The other thing I like to say is there's a color tint on the whole film that makes everything feel hot. The film looks like it's hot outside. And that's just like a little technical thing that I noticed early on, but I appreciate that. I really do. I think that's all I gotta say about Do the Right Thing. Tomorrow I'm gonna look at one of the first ever film noirs I saw a couple years ago. Hi, Elena. Double Indemnity. It's one. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite movies, but it's one I've been looking forward to seeing again. So I'm gonna look at that tomorrow. Right, baby girl? Oh, you little floppy little booger.